MK Ultra, year 2005. They start to make this plan, how they're gonna do this electronic torture, all kinds of shit on me here in this room. They guided me through the house, they started with the paranoia and stuff like this they were doing. What are we going to do? Issue popped up. What are we going to do? Because Berger is a Moscow. So what exactly are we going to do? Because when Berger is going to use the weapon on him in this room, it's going to be Moscow, it's going to be Berger. Okay, so I tell you what, we're going to come up with a plan. If he would be attacked from the other side of the house, well, and then in that case, this is how they talk. Then in that case, you know, it would not be a Berger. Now, Berger was a politician here in Slovenia. I already have dedicated him too much, okay? But there are people here that they believe that people like Berger, they actually represent some sort of connection, let's say, to Moscow, to a communism. They see things in these people that do not exist. I have already talked about him, and I will not go any further in issues with this individual. He is very corrupt. People like this are young. I'm not going to say naive and stupid, because my niece is absolutely everything, and her husband. But naive and stupid. This is rather a rotten criminal character that Joseph Mengele possessed. That's the type of character we are talking about. They came up with a plan that something would happen if attack would come, if something like this would happen, and then it would be also possible the attack would come from the other side of the house, okay? Because in this room, right across this room, there's a Berger residence, okay? But on the opposite side, I'm not going to say on opposite side of the house, okay? But 90 degree, let's say, on my side, to the right, what you see it is on your left. That's across the street right there, that's a Danakolenz. So they came up with a dirty plan. And my crazy niece and her husband, who, look, I don't care about what is it exactly they think they know, okay? They got plenty of time to read. They are paid to read and experiment and goof around with the people, you know, do the stuff like this. I don't, they do. And so they kind of figure out that they would come up with a really dirty, disgusting trick, basically using their own children. And this is exactly the Putin recipe. That's exactly, I can tell you, the psychology, the mentality. That's exactly from the book of the Vladimir Putin. They came up with the idea that they would confuse me about my statement, about my claim, about the attack, about the acoustic attack that I have experienced and other attacks, by simply involving their children inside of the game. And this is where I basically describe this incident that take place just the day after the New Year. They use their own children to, with intention, with idea, to confuse me on the issue, who is, what is, you know, and if I would fall for that kind of stuff, you know, if I would become sensational about it and go on my website and start to change my mind and would start to write about how, no, it was not, you know, Berger, you know, it was Danakolenz and so on, you know, that's pretty much the material, that's the type of stuff that Vladimir Putin wants. He wants people to, let's say, shift between loyalty to the Russia and between the corrupt mentality that he creates inside of the people through the use of the violence. Because this is what the Vladimir Putin is, a violent thug. He did change his tune a few days ago when he visited, you know, when he visited St. Petersburg, Leningrad, where apparently his brother is buried, his family is buried due to World War II. Germans that apparently murdered them. To me, it seems like he did change tone, which is rather commending. The problem here is that his wealth is totally unprecedented. You know, so when he met with those World War II veterans of the Red Army, who are the rightful owners of the Russia, these are the owners of the Russia. The money and everything belongs to them. They are the one because of whom Russia exists today, because of why Russia is today. When he met with those people, you know, I was touched. I was really touched. It touched me. But, you know, when they thank him, because, you know, it was so highly touching. But, you know, I don't know. I like to see some more of this action. I want to see some real action. You know, I want to see proofs of these things. And I want these people to be awarded more. I don't see how an individual with a presidential salary have the right to accumulate like $200 billion, you know, just with a presidential salary. I somehow don't see it, because it's like a lot of Russian people, a lot of this Red Army officers that deserve better conditions. You have a grandmas, grandpas all over Russia in terrible circumstances, remote villages and so on, all over the place. Workers, tough situation for them. And you have individual with like tons of money, and it's not only here, it's also other people. Associated himself too much with the West. He changed tune. Let's hope that he will continue with that type of tone, because I'm going nowhere. I'm staying here, and every time, whatever the hell is going to happen to me, I am going to report. Will have nothing to do, let's say, with what he's doing in a political stage and so on. Whatever he's doing in a political stage, that's a separate thing. But I gotta say, the way his approach toward me is really nothing else than a violent thuggery. And the experience is telling me the psychology that my niece have used on her own children is the one from the book of the Vladimir Putin. That's all I have to say. Now I'm going to describe you an incident, what happened. And it's sad, it's pathetic. It's 1.5-year-old boy, beautiful boy, and 3.5-year-old beautiful girl that were left inside of the vehicle. Not as usually the case is, in front of our doors. She did that like 3 times that I can recall. Before that, maybe just to psychologically adjust me to what could become like acceptable, or for me this is really not acceptable. That you will leave children inside of the car, you know, literally with a motion detector, you know, sensor inside. That's, please excuse me, that's just not really acceptable. I'm just going to go to the incident. She did leave them before in front of the door. At this time, she left them on the side, which is close to Collins, to Donna Collins, the dude that used to go to microwave me right under my bed. Okay, so now this would really confuse me, because in this room right across the road, it's a burger. But where he parked the car this time, it's actually Donna Collins. Okay, so now I would make an assumption and then change the story into something completely different. That it could be also this and that. No, it was not. It was Berger, and Berger also promised me all that stuff. And the stuff when I'm going to make the documentary about the cameras and stuff, the surveillance, total surveillance, that's going to blow your mind about the Berger. So it was not Donna Collins this time. It really was Berger, and it really, on my disappointment, really did affect the children. And this is how far, you know, the people, you know, are just willing to go, you know, to protect somebody, you know, to pull, you know, what can I say?
By the way, you know, I studied that body language that of Putin just like a few days ago when he paid respect to World War II veterans, Russian World War II veterans. You know, they were the one thanking him that he made country, you know, that he rebuilt the country, the military might and so on and stuff like this. It's a Russia who did it. And another thing is, if he really was, you know, he was like, you know, no problem, no problem, no problem, you're welcome, you know, you're welcome, you know, with that type of tone. He should be the one thanking them as a president. He should be the one thanking them. He should say, you know, you're welcome, but really it is you who have, you know, done all this for us. But then again, in a Putin's Russia, it's a different. It's Russia that exists because of the Putin, and not Putin to serve the Russia because of the Russia. Well, if best described the incident, I'm going to say, you see that parking lot right there where the car is parked? Okay, next to, you know, across the street, I don't want to go there with an Android. But on the other side of the house, there is a Berger residence right across the road. Okay, and so I have to go this way. Okay, this house right there. Okay, that's where Donna Collins is. On the other side, you have a Berger family. Okay, now the car for my niece was parked exactly as you see that car right there. And there were 2 children inside of the car, 1.5 years old and 1.5-year-old boy and 3.5-year-old girl. Okay, as my niece ran down from the kitchen, I look at her. She got like signal on her Android. You know, motion detector is what she placed inside of the car, and when one of the kids would move, it would send the signal to her phone, and she's like with a panic, you know, it was like she anticipated something bad. And that's what really triggered my attention. I got scared, you know, when I saw her, how she ran down the stairs. I was like, I said to myself, man, that's like weird. Okay, you know, I would never leave my children inside of the car, to tell you. Even in front of this house here, I would never do that. Even with the motion detectors and stuff like this, as she does, I never would do this. I don't think even she does this. She does this to make it look to me as unsuspicious. But is it normal to leave the children inside of the car? No, not really. Even if you have a motion detector inside, not really. Okay? And so she ran down from the kitchen like crazy. And you know, I also went slowly to see what's happening, you know, because really she got my attention. And as I come out, you know, and I, right from around the corner, as I come out, and I hear the children crying, like you would not believe, crying, crying, crying. You remember when I told you that they radiated me with microwave? That it took me about 2 hours and a half to get together after I already got up, and I was so confused I could not put my stuff in the bag in a backpack and go like 20 meters down basically to the ground floor. It's a nasty, nasty, nasty feeling. It's like you have a cold. It's like somebody bit you up. It's like you're like 10 times more tired than before you went to sleep. It's not like you got, let's say, in that case it was like 2.5, 3 hours of sleep or something like that. It's much worse than when before you went to sleep. You're sick. You're totally sickened. And when I came to that car, and I love the children, I love them, and children loved me. And when I came to that car, when she saw me, my niece, she went like totally hysteric at me, like as if I did something. I mean, as if I did something. Okay? Well, the point here is that I didn't do anything, but she did something really disgusting. Okay? She used her children to convince me that it was not the Berger, because Berger is straight Moscow connection, who did microwave me over there in that room in the rear of the house. But in fact, it could be somebody else, like the dude here, Collins, that did before. Okay? And in order to do that kind of stuff, under MKUltra they have suggested me that I'm not going to be able to notice who does this stuff and this and that. But what about if he did? What about if it would be like this and like that and so on? And so she got upset, in reality, not because of me, but because she exposed her own children to such ordeal, and so just so she could do a dirty job. I'm not gonna say for Moscow, but for Berger, literally. Try to harbor him. When we got up there in the house, when she brought the children, I laughed. I didn't want to be there because she's so hysterically, she yelled like hysterically completely when I came. It was a sign to me just to go away, go away. Children were crying. She brought them up into a living room, and the children still, just went on, and they just cry and cry and cry. And no matter what, you try to calm them. You cannot calm somebody that was just exposed to microwaving. And when it was Few days after I have undergone that ordeal when this guy microwaved me that I barely got up, I posted on the news site that you guys may never even hear from me again. That's I thought that I'm not gonna be able to post for like, I don't know, I thought, how long is this gonna last? Hey, it took about, I think about 11 hours that I finally felt better that I can go on with it. Everything else was like forced when I was making video that morning, like tremendously forced, just so I would say what is happening, but that was it. Okay, the children cried and cried and cried and cried, and I knew what was going on, and she knew what was going on, and we all knew really what was going on. Basically, as I have posted on my news site for the last 14 days, and this was posted, I believe, on the 9th. See if I go down here, January 9, I think it was January 9 that I have posted this. Too bad Blogger doesn't post the dates, but I think it was 9 or 10, doesn't matter. For the last 14 days, nothing but sound in my ears. It was actually attacked that lasted for over 14 days. I no longer could hear low volume voices, sounds. I had a trouble hearing YouTube videos. I could not even hear when I was making movie on a movie maker, let's say. I could not edit anymore without the headsets. Okay, I had a serious issue with that. And when I did post this, it did stop, and briefly afterwards, probably the next day I would say, whatever, it just went on again. The sound would just simply, it would come back. This situation would go on till well, right here I have posted, so I no longer can hear anything. They would change frequencies, which I'm about to demonstrate you, either January 10, January 11. Neighbor is back with old acoustic torture. That's quite okay, because what I will do right now, I will present you with recorded audios which range in between January the 7th to all the way to January 11th, and we're gonna go and we're gonna analyze them, see what went on for over 2 weeks.
This pertains to January 7, 2018, and not 17 here. Mistake. Let's go. Amplify. Now, I'd like you to pay attention to basically what you see here. You don't see any cuts. You just see the steady noise. Some sort of noise like this. Trash. Let's see. Let's get going. What you have heard was amplified. What is right now going is what is not amplified. Go ahead and we're going to amplify that for you. So we're not going to go at 40, no way, but we're going to go instead at 29 and see basically how this looks like. It precisely looks like this. Tell you what, let's do it at 46. See how that looks like. As you see, it is steady. It is completely steady. I don't see any cuts, which you will see in continuation.
And let's actually see in details how this frequency exactly looks like once you zoom in one. So we get a little blueprint of what this actually is made out of. Okay, this is again very, very different mixture of frequencies united into one. Okay, I am going to tell you already today, it's January 29 of 2018. What actually is happening here is automated machine that is changing frequencies. I'm going to tell you how this is going to end with, because I actually have recordings and proofs that there's a acoustic torture machine that is continuously changing frequencies, and this is pretty much what you will witness here in this video. Okay, so this is a machine. This is different than what it was before, and so it's going to be, every time it's going to be something special about it, something special different. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether I zoom into whatever is amplified or I zoom into whatever the hell I zoom in. But yeah, amplified, it's a little neater, it's a little better. Alright, let's just zoom in one more time for demonstration purposes. It looks messy like this. Okay, let's just analyze what you have just seen. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll do nothing else than amplify this. Yeah, 27 is just okay with me, because what I really care about is this here, how it all looks like. And it doesn't look pretty, does it? As you see core, see this core inside? It looks totally different than it did before. But this here, this is an automated system, this is a machine, and it almost on every, what is this, like half a second, does something like this, and every second, every second, every second, every second, every second. So it's an automated machine. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
A little closer look to what we have just seen. To me, this looks like a different frequency again. Similar to that before, but again a little bit different. Maybe very different. One more shot. Why not? Very different, absolutely. Absolutely. Every one of this, they look different.
The attack did not end. He did change the frequency, but probably within matter of hours I will probably get some other type of acoustic problem. So it feels completely different, but attack did not end. It again is the same as it was earlier today, so he started again with a torture procedure.
Okay, once again, just exactly as it was. You see, this is exactly what it was. Then I'm also gonna play you a recording same day later on, but let's see it real time what that was looked like. Alright, so if I take this and I do like a little amplification here, let's say, yeah, this ain't gonna look pretty because, you know, it already looks like this. But just look at this amplitudes, you know, this positive amplitudes, how they multiply. You know, what went on here? There was not one frequency that was occasionally parallel with the other one, but there was quite few of them, and then more and more and more. So the question here is what, you know, what the hell went on here? If you would again to multiply, then you see some other phenomena. Then you're going to see something, you know, let's see this. Again, totally different stuff again. But I don't know if you want to call this unique. Very torturous process, I will tell you that. Disturbing process that will totally annoy you, it will totally piss you off. Okay, here is the same day. Okay, the same day, like this. Let's frequency right back to the old status. The same day at what, 6:30 hours evening, so on. Okay, let's really see what old status. Okay, again, I am making assumptions a little too quickly here because I'm sick of it. I want to believe this shit is not happening. You don't understand. When this goes for weeks on you, when they play this shit, this dirty trick on you, and you start to develop this noise in your head, it's pretty damn nasty. But it's also amazing how it cuts just in one moment, and it's like all of a sudden peace comes back and so on. Not that they would stop, but they change the frequency into something else, and then again it's gradually builds up in your ears. Okay, so this is basically what it looks like. And again, this is again something else. I don't know what this is. Old status, I don't know. Whatever that means, this is what it looked like. Frequency right back to the old status. January 11, sure wasn't a very pleasant day, and well, when you see this here, I'm pretty damn sure you understand exactly why that was. It's needless for me to say why, right? You get this. This is basically what was recorded as a sound. This is what went on. You get some amplitudes, and also interesting this one here, the transformation. As they realized I am recording them, it went away exactly what you see here, and hello, we get this type of frequency. It changed. It did change into a same old, same old. Okay, so interesting. Not really, really not interesting. It's just a matter of that they do this type of stuff to prove wherever yes they want to prove out there. But here is what that sound like. Okay, and yeah, once they realize I'm recording them, and this didn't happen the first time, this happened many, many times. They went back to this one if you wanna. Now if I would go back here and zoom into this, let's see what exactly we will get here, what this is gonna look like. Looks like this, like that. Not precisely natural. And if we go back to where we were, and let's see what exactly we're gonna get here. To me, to record this stuff, folks, it didn't make much sense. Still today doesn't make any fucking sense, because what sense does it make when they take away from your court, when they take away from you and deprive you of the legal system, when you are totally alienated from the society, when you are deprived of your citizenship rights, every fucking right that people take as granted, when you can no longer even call the police because they're going to take you to the mental hospital. What sense the fuck does it have when they do shit like this to you? What sense does it have even to record the stuff like this? You got to ask yourself, some people say, but I would do it this way, I would do it that way. Well, pips, don't forget, since 2006, unemployed, and more than anything, the right to legal system totally denied on domestic and international levels. Not once, not twice, but for over 13 years. That's a whole lot of time. I remember my cousin in Austria, he was jobless for less than a year. And he was seriously considering suicide. He cried like a baby. He was broken, and I know that most of you would not even last that long. Okay? So take in consideration this when you say, I will do it this way, I will do it that way, and why I did it the way I did it. So this is once they have changed the frequency again. That's basically that's what this one looked like. Again, what you have seen pertains to January 11 of 2018.
I thought it was raining outside because I no longer can discern sound like rain due to electronic torture. It's ringing in my ears. It's hard to concentrate. It's just totally disturbing. And so went out to see what the situation is with weather. I see that they changed the frequency instead. Tuesday, January 11, 2018 it is.
They have just changed the frequency. I see they have just changed the frequency. I'm so glad I have recorded the stuff. This was the frequency and it was recorded with a smartphone. It looked like this. This is exactly what it looked like. And it was very high. You could not hear one, but it would go all the way here to the end, just as is seen on a smartphone. But I did go outside at the entrance door, and that's exactly what I have stated. I have stated that I went out to check whether it's raining outside, what's happening outside, because I no longer can discern between the voices due to this type of torture. I no longer hear. Basically, my hearing is impaired now. And so, by the time I came back inside, they changed, seems like they changed frequency. This is what it looked like, this with these things here. This is exactly what it looked like. So I'm so glad I did this with the smartphone, just on time. Unbelievable. As I went out to basically, I did stop this thing when I went out, I think. As I went out, that's what I want to make sure that, let me see this. Let's go at the beginning. This is basically what it was today. Let's go back here and we'll add some more stuff to it. Let's see this. Totally different frequency than it was before. This precisely is the sound once it was changed from that. What it appeared to me obviously was a torture noise, not even sound or voice, but noise rather. And once it changed, it almost went back to the old same, which also was unpleasant. My ears have detected that as unpleasant noise. And if I would multiply, I should say amplify one, it would look exactly like this. Again, almost on every second you would have something that would cut that noise. maybe amplified frequency. I don't know. Yeah, I no longer was sure whether it's raining outside or not. This is how bad it is. I can't hear any more low volume stuff. I no longer can hear low volume voice. Okay, January 12, 2018. To tell you the truth, I would not know whether this is good, this is bad. To me, it looks bad. It looks like strange, like, you know, like a cuts. You can see this. I began to deem that this is actually a normal frequency for this ambient here in this room, but then again I have to be honest. I have to use a little bit immune system. I have to plug in my immune system, in this case a little bit paranoia, because I suffer to what is a lack of paranoia. You know, people should be freaking alerted when they see the stuff like this. To me, this not this day in particular, I have not felt well either. I did not record it all the time. It might be something before that. It might also be that this is not normal frequency, as this frequency cannot be encountered anywhere else than in this very room. Now, keep in mind that it impaired my hearing. So even if there would be something that would cause this cuts, this chops here that you see on every, let's see this, on every second, I would not detect, I would not know where that's coming from, what that is. Okay, even right now, today, January 30th, 2018, I have a sound in my ears. Not as much as I used to have anywhere even near, but a little bit I do have, and it's probably a little bit in a parenthesis because I began to get used to it. Something I never ever should. Okay? But, so, it's basically what I'm saying. This was the situation that went on January the 12th of 2018. I did extract recordings pretty much, and more or less I don't know, they look to me like the same. If somebody wants to analyze and see these things and so on, they're welcome to do it. Maybe here it's even a little bit sharper cuts than it was in the beginning, but no, I think it's the same one. And so zoom a little bit out like this. Looks like this was the case all day long, I would say. I'm going to also zoom into this one here. Then you're going to have a sound on display, and you'll be able to determine yourself if you're a professional or whatever. You can play with it and find out about that. Sound will be exactly 43 seconds, so if you want to skip that portion of the video, just go 43 seconds forward, as I will insert now the original sound 43 seconds in this video. January the 14th of 2018 is when this here was recorded. One look, and you can see that Frequency again is totally different here. No, you don't have to be genius to see what's happening. Okay, let's just go like this, and just let's see, in a few seconds when I started to record this, let's see this thing here. Here I went on blah blah blah. I don't even know what have I stated, talked about, la 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 la. No, I did not feel well. Let's see. No, this is already 2 minutes that went by. Within 2 minutes, you can see frequency is different already. Same old same. Same old same. So, tell you what. Let's look at the metamorphosis, if you like. Let's look at the change of what you have seen just to same old same. How about this? We're going to repeat the amplification, and yeah, here you have it. Look at that. At 1 minute 50 seconds, machine changes the frequency, and it goes from this here to this here to the same old same. You see this? This was recorded on January the 14th of 2017. I don't even know what have I talked about here. I'm sure I wasn't really happy. Let's see what frequency, let's go to 23, was, as this was the same number I used for the other one. Like this, like this, like this. Okay. I can zoom in into it and look at this. Look at this, babe. It's totally different. Look, you see this? Like that, just like that. Okay. Now let's get out of here. Now let's see what about a minute something later. Here I probably have complained about the trigger attention. Within a few seconds frequency changes into what most often was the case, into this here. Here you can really see the transformation of the frequency. Zip zip zip. I should also use, as I talk, all of a sudden frequency switches to another frequency and so on. And it goes on, it goes, lucky me. There you go, it goes on, same old same. Let's go, we're gonna amplify this. That's okay, 26 too. And it goes on like this, like nothing happened. Tick, 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 tick. You can cry, you can complain. As a matter of fact, you can't even do that, because if you do, it's diddle, diddle, diddle. Very same day, January 14, 2018. Let's see this thing here. Wow, you know what? Let me see this. Let me see this. Let's see this thing here. I'm not really sure. It's supposed to start with, well, I did exactly the right thing. I started the right one, and then later on during the day, exactly what you have seen right now, the same situation repeated again. And I got logged, I can give you a time, I can tell you. I can give you exact times and everything, so it's not going to be conspiracy theories and this and that. First time it was recorded at 1:31 p.m. Second recording we had 1:31 Sunday, I guess 1:32, I don't know, did it go back to the same thing? I suppose so. Did you go to the same thing? January 14, modified. Okay, I'll tell you what. My HP is, how can I tell you? It's totally modified. They play with it, and you know, you kind of lost control of what was created when and so on. But you can see here, created. No, it was not created on January the 24th. It was actually created on January the 14th. Of course, you cannot modify something an earlier date if it was created 10 days later. But these smart asses are so damn smart that they're changing absolutely everything. So now if you don't log here under the date and everything, well, you know, I don't have to go in details what happens. But yeah, this was created at 11:29 p.m. Okay, second recording, and the first recording, we're gonna see it. The first recording was 11:05. See, 11:05 p.m. But they have managed again to change what was created and what was modified and so on. Listen, this Windows, I'm not gonna say they're bad. It's just the people that play with my computer are really, really nasty. Okay, so about half an hour later, this here happened. Okay, this here happened about a half an hour later, meaning they went. Let's see this to make sure that I'm not going to say something. This is actually the same frequency. Let's see this. It went on, the same old. This here, however, this does not look like the same frequency, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'm not really sure what my comment was on that day. Yeah, but you know, I'm wrong. I guess it was. But I wouldn't be recording this stuff if everything was okay. I wouldn't be doing this. I would not get into any of these issues if. But you can see here, look. You can see this things. This is not the same frequency. You can see here this is like 46, 10, 46, what, 20. And then you got the same one like this at 47. It's not 47, yeah, it's 47.20. So every